So hit preview and it will jump and show you a preview of the animation. This is actually what it will export. So if you see anything that's weird here, you need to make sure that you fix it. So see, we went right through there. So there I'm going behind the tree. So maybe we fix it so we somehow go in front of the tree. And then here we see the building. And now it's going to just stop because it got to the end. So there's two ways we can fix that. We can try and adjust it. Oh, here's a cool thing. Up until now, you've not seen the path. All you've seen is me putting views. But if we look back, it will look kind of like a roller coaster, but it's the path. So that's exactly what the camera is doing. So if I move up, and it's in 3D, it doesn't exist in SketchUp. In SketchUp, there's nothing. So don't look for it there because you'll never see it. It only lives here. And then there we can immediately see, oh yeah, you know what? I am going behind the tree. So if I wanted to fix this, you could either remember that's 1, that's 2, and then that's 3. So then we click here, like double click on there, and it will take you to that camera. Or you can get out of this and say back. If we can somehow find that one and click on it, see it takes you to that one. And now we have more settings. So remember before I said don't worry too much because we can always fine tune it. So now what I want to do is move forward, and hopefully I'm close enough here. Let's not go in front of this lady that's on the ground. Oops. For some reason that doesn't go forward and it just flies forward. This one still works. That looks pretty good. So if that's what you like, then you say apply. If you don't hit apply and you hit back, it basically ignores everything you did. So now we can hit back to get out of this view, and we can see already it looks like you're still not going in front of the tree. You could. The other thing we can do is, let's say this one, we go, or actually, let's do, there's two ways you can do it. You can move the one that's closest, or you can move the one before or the one after, so that your path starts flowing through that a little bit different. So let's say we want to add one in between these. So here, I'm on keyframe 2 of 4. I'm going to go to the next one here by clicking there. So now I think if we move the camera like this and go here, and we have that as like an image, and I say, oh, it doesn't let me insert now. Oh, because you have to insert and then move it. So let's say apply. So now I've changed that one. Let's see what that does to my path. Oh, that's pretty good. So see, rather than make it stop there, oh no, but see, I'm going in the ground. Let's see if it's true. Let's watch the preview. We're gonna go like an earthworm now. It's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Like you're popping into their picnic from underground. Let's see, now that actually looks good there. So all we need to do is adjust it so we don't go so far down into the ground. And you can add scenes in between. You can add like you can adjust the ones that we did like we were just doing. So then I'm going to grab this one and tell it go up. And this is like really where like the majority of the work is just getting it fine-tuned. So that looks good. Might be high still, but you can go down here a couple. That looks good. I can see the path going there. So apply. Oh, it's Q. So if you remember, like you have the WASD, like the keys. The keys? It should be. I think so. So we've got this guy here. Looks like we're going right by that lady. Right there. So we can always come around here now. Let's say we've got that in there. Now we can come around here. You can add one. Boom. And then I want to see the front side of that building over here. So you kind of want to come up with like a main game plan of what kind of overall path do you want, and then you start playing with like how you're going to control it. And the one thing that's a little bit different to Enscape and some of the other animation software is that you don't really control, like in SketchUp you control the delay between scenes. In Enscape you set the keyframes. It creates this little path that like kind of goes in between all of them, and then you get to adjust like how long the overall animation is, and that's really it. You don't get individual control in between. So let's say this is where you want it to end. So if you look down here, we have this big slider, and that is the overall length. Well, that's going to go right around that tree. I wonder if you'll see it. So see, I'm kind of staying low, but see, we can see the path. So I'm looping around there, coming back in close.
How long does it have to be?
So you can adjust here the time. So you could have 50 scenes and still have the same amount of time. It's just how much control do you want over that path. Does that make sense? The longer, like the farther apart your scenes are, obviously the more time you will want, or else it'll look like if I take this, so right now it's at a minute, that's the recommended thing from Enscape. If I pull this down, and hang on, because this might make you dizzy, but if I say here 11 seconds and I hit preview, we're gonna like fly through there, see? So it will still do the exact same path. So if you're just testing the path and you just want to see, you don't want to wait 10 minutes for your animation to get all the way around, you can set something really fast like that. But when you actually are ready to do it, I would recommend like moving this guy. And if you don't have this total duration, update your Enscape, because that's one of the more recent updates. They added this. If you don't have it, then you're basically stuck with whatever Enscape recommended, and you can't change it. And sometimes it's like ultra slow, like to the point where it looks like it's not moving. Like it'll be like 45 minutes to do like the thing that we just did, and you're looking at it, you're like, is it going? So here's 1 minute, or like a minute and 3 seconds. So let's see how this looks. And some of that choppiness goes away when you actually render the real one. So you'll want to like set your path, go through all the different settings, figure out where it is you want it to go, and then this is where you spend a lot of time. Is really just, it's not that it's difficult, it's just refining where you have the cameras, which direction the camera is looking, because all that makes a difference. Like you could have the same scene, but if the camera is like looking a weird way, it will, like when you get to the next one, it's like, and it gets really jerky. So you'll get the hang of like realizing what kind of motions cause it to get really jerky. And sometimes you need to put a scene in such a way so that it doesn't want to like instantly rotate as it goes to the next scene, because that might launch you into like a wall or something. So ideally you'll have something like this where you start off as you approach your building, and then like you can either go into like the main spaces or through like, let's say it's like a campus or like outdoor space, you do something like that. I said in the assignment like at least 1 minute minimum, um, but you'll see it's really hard to do a 1 minute and see the whole like design. So a 2 minute one is probably like the best. I've done them like 4 minutes ends up being kind of long. People are like, all right, I'm gonna go do something else, like, and then like your video's still going by. Where it works really nice in presentations, let's say you're doing like a design presentation or something like that, you can set a really smooth like animation and just have it running, and you talk over it and explain the idea. And when you do that, you design the path so that it helps go hand in hand with what you're talking about. So when you introduce a project, you're usually talking about the site, what's in relation to it. So you would probably start the animation far away, or maybe it's in plan view, like up really high, and it slowly starts zooming in. So you start talking about it, and it gives you time to like point out, like over here there's like a river, over here there's like a nice view, or we're going to do all this stuff, and you can use that. So as it gets down to the eye level, then you start talking about the relationship of the building to the city or to the site or the entry, and then you can bring it right into the building and start showing it. So you can like walk someone through, and then you don't necessarily need the whole animation to be like a Michael Bay movie where there's like all this stuff happening at all the time. Like I see some people do that. Like they have like every animation is like it's set like way too short, and it's set at like these crazy angles where like they're like, oh, I need this view of my building, I need this view, I need this view, and then there's like almost no order to how you're like flying between them. And then the time of day in one scene is like 5 o'clock, and you go to the next one, it's like noon. You go to the next one, it's like 8 in the morning, and the next one's 5 o'clock again. So like the sun never, it barely makes it to 5 o'clock, and then it's like jumping over here, and it gets really weird. So if you want to see kind of like what can happen, like you can go to the individual view and see here, like you have, you can set time of day, and it will slowly start changing to become like this time of day. So let's say this time, and we hit apply. So now if I go back and you hit preview, you'll see it will start at one time of day, and see now as I'm going down to the next one, you can have it change to that time of day. And if I go to the next scene and now I tell it to save a different time of day, as you go to the next scene, it will start to go over to the next one. So let's do that. Let's say this one, is this the one we did? So this one has it checked. See, it's green, it's white. Here, let's say we keep it, but by the time we get here, let's say we want the time of day to be like daytime, something like that. Apply, and then for the next one, this is where it starts getting weird, because your sun won't be like smooth. You'll see what I'm talking about. Apply. So now when we go back and preview it, see there where my sun is? It's casting the shadow on the building. It's really warm. See, now it starts shifting because it needs to get to that other time by the time it gets to that keyframe. So what I recommend is don't change the time of day scene to scene or keyframe to keyframe. Is only pick maybe like two that you say at this time you're going to be this time of day, and by the end maybe it becomes sunset. And then in between you uncheck the like locked time of day, so that gives Enscape a lot of time to make it nice and smooth to kind of bring you along. Because like you'll see if you go into all of them, and it might happen to you where you realize all of a sudden your sun's slowly moving one way, and in between two scenes that are like 30 seconds apart, the sun goes all the way one way and all the way back, and then it's like, whoa. And then like all people will look at is the shadows going crazy, and they ignore like your building and the design that you're trying to communicate. So here I've kind of slowly gone around. So if I wanted to end up where those people are, I wouldn't just go forward because we've just been going back. So if you just go forward, it's going to feel really weird. So maybe we like pan around and then we come down from the other side of the building. So we've got here, oops, not what I wanted to do. So hold shift and go faster. So I don't want this to be super jerky. So I'm gonna like loop all the way to like here for this one. And it's not the best side of the building, but you'll get the idea. Add there. And then here, maybe we start looking that way already. Oh, you can do this too. If you can find the path and you move the mouse along it, it will add. And see, there's little arrows that tell you which direction it's moving in. So that's helpful because you might find the path. You're like, wait, is this going the right way? So if I move my mouse, I can add this little camera and change the path that way. So let me move it like around here now. So I want it to start looking back at the building, so I don't want to just show you there. So add, and then the last one's going to be here at the building in the back, and our friends kind of like we're hanging out with these people. So that's going to be tricky not to go through that tree. Oops, I'm changing the time of day. There. And then add. And then let's preview that. It's gone up now to almost 2 minutes, but it should work. And the time of day, I think I shifted it sometimes on accident, but it should work out. And I'll upload this too, and I'll render now the final animation. I don't know how long it'll take, but I'll stop the recording so then it uses everything it has to get that out. So see here, time of day is changing, clouds are moving, shadows are going around. And this is pretty simple. One thing that you're limited by, which you can do when you're just flying around, is like in SketchUp, if you toggle stuff on and off, let's say you had like a door on a different layer, or you had like your building was phased, or you had different options, you can have those on different layers. But in Enscape, once you start the animation, it will not recognize if you turn stuff on and off. Like right now, if I were to delete the building, it's still going to render out the animation with the building there. It's not live updates like it is while you're in the space live. So that's one thing to keep in mind, where if you wanted your final animation to have stuff like that fading in and out, you'll have to find another way to work around the fact that Enscape doesn't do it right now, like natively. So here we have it kind of turning around. It's going to look at that side. And then it should end here. There you go. So, do you guys have any questions on that so far? So the last thing I want to show you is if you're